thank you everyone for joining. We're very excited to have this event. My name is Chen Peretz. I'm the Economic Counselor, Head of the Economic and Trade Mission in Vietnam. And I would also like to thank ICAFIS and the AquaculTech community for helping us organize the event today. Our job here at the Israeli Trade Mission is to bring the right opportunities for both Israeli companies and Vietnamese companies. And I think that specifically in the aquaculture sector, there is much potential, and I'm sure that we will find the event today very productive, and even more so the collaboration that we will see after this event, and that we at the Trade Mission will help to coordinate and facilitate. I'm sure we'll see a lot of good and beneficial collaborations in the future. Vietnam is a powerhouse with everything concerning seafood and fish products. It is a global leader, and I think that Israeli companies, Israeli technologies have a lot to offer in assisting the Vietnamese companies in becoming more productive, more efficient, and most importantly, more competitive in the global market that today is becoming more and more challenging and more demanding. So specifically in aquaculture, I think that we will find this kind of collaboration a win-win for both sides. Both Vietnamese and Israeli companies have a lot to offer and have many opportunities to collaborate. And I urge you all, after this event, to reach out to the Trade Mission, to keep in contact with us. So this event won't be a one-time thing, but we will actually see continuation to this kind of a connection. We are more than glad to help to coordinate and facilitate one-on-one B2B meetings after the event. And we hope for a productive event and a very productive and beneficial collaboration in the future as well. So thank you all. That's it. And we will leave the contact information for the Trade Mission. And please reach out so we can have, so there will be a continuation to this event. Just one technical thing from our side. During the presentation of the Israeli companies, we'll try to keep time for Q&A, but there is also time at the end of the event for Q&A as well. So please, during the event, if you have any questions, you can just write it in the chat box, and we'll try to provide you with the answers in this event. If there are still questions that remain unanswered, then again, please reach out to us. We'll make sure that no question will remain unanswered. And if you need more information, then again, we'll be glad to coordinate meetings with the relevant Israeli companies. So again, thank you all for joining us, and hope we have an enjoyable, depends where you are on the globe, but either a enjoyable morning or an enjoyable afternoon, and that's it.
Xin cảm ơn phần trình bày của ông Chen Peretz. Tiếp theo xin mời ông Đinh Xuân Lập sẽ có đôi lời phát
So
biểu
please welcome Mr. Dinh Xuan Lập for
từ
his
phía
speech
Việt Nam, từ phía trung tâm
from Vietnam side for the ICAFIS.
Xin cảm ơn người tham tán.
Thank you a lot, Mr. Chen Peretz. Currently, I can see that there are 133 representatives joining this seminar, and I'm on a way to a hatchery in Vietnam, in the southern Vietnam. So Vietnam is the third country in the world in terms of aquaculture. Recently, over the past 30 years, Vietnam has good progress in import and exports. In 2024, we yield 10 billion USD in terms of export stream. However, we are facing some challenges, especially in climate change. And we know that Israel is a big country that has the high-end technology and deep research and experience that we would like to share information and learn from you and cooperate with you. And we hope that from the consulate as well as the Vietnamese enterprises, we can get update to the new experiences and information insights that we can overcome the disadvantages, especially in climate change and in fingerling and water treatment, which is really which is a really high profile for Israel. So I really hope that you can stay to the end. Stay tuned to get update with any information. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand or put your question in the Q&A session, and we will answer accordingly. Thank you a lot.
Cảm ơn anh Đinh Xuân Lập về những chia sẻ từ
Thank you very much from Mr. Dinh Xuân Lập. Next one, we would like to invite Ms. Roni Sussman, is the CEO of AquaculTech, to have the overview of aquaculture in Israel.
Now the floor is yours.
Hi. So it's morning in Israel, and I really wanted to say good morning, Vietnam, but good afternoon, Vietnam. I'll present the AquaculTech community. It's the Israeli biotechnology and aquaculture community, and it's a joint venture of the Israel Innovation Institute, the Ministry of Economic and Industry, the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and Israel Innovation Authority. The community is actually a platform to boost biotechnology and aquaculture locally in Israel and globally to connect all the stakeholders, academy, industry, entrepreneurs, investors, and all stakeholders in aquaculture in Israel and around the world, to create an innovative ecosystem that benefits from networking, knowledge sharing, and dealing with challenges as one. The AquaculTech community is a part of the Israel Innovation Institute, which opens innovation communities in a lot of sectors to create dynamic growth in each sector by connecting all the relevant parties to that growth. So our main missions is to map the Israeli ecosystem, to connect the stakeholders, if it's investors and entrepreneurs, if it's academy and entrepreneurs, etc. To map the global challenges and to promote the members globally, exactly like this event, to create economic growth that leads to food security. This is just an example for the events that we had in the past 3 years. You can see them in our website. You can even look at the events themselves if you want. It's just an example for the things that we do. And I will just run through the Israeli ecosystem. We have about 25 academy and research institutes, 32 grower farmers, 12 novel alternatives companies, 11 seafood companies, actually it's shrimp companies, 3 coral companies, and 42 technology developers for aquaculture, and 30 algae companies. In the small country of Israel, 30 companies grow algae and develop technologies for algae. We opened in Eilat the Innovation, the Israeli Biotechnology and Aquaculture Innovation Center to be the Israeli hub for development. Just to say that you can connect to this hub through us and through any of the companies in Israel. And you can join us and connect with all the stakeholders in Israel and with the members that we have around the world. And you can follow us, just join the community. Thank you and have a good event today.
So thank you very much. Xin cảm ơn chị Ronnie. Và
Thank you
bây
very
giờ
much, Miss Ronnie. So
chúng
next
tôi xin
one,
giới thiệu cái phần trình bày đầu tiên của công ty
please
BarAlgae, ông
welcome
Omri from Cultivation.
Mr. Omri from BarAlgae.
So I'm Omri from BarAlgae. BarAlgae has a novel technology for producing microalgae. It is a technology we've developed in-house. Not only the technology and the different components, but also the know-how for cultivating more than 12 different species of microalgae for 3 main business sectors. Is it possible? Well, we'll go back to that, but I'll give you a quick company overview. As you can see, can you see it on the screen that I've changed pages? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
The company was established in 2018. It was a part of a bigger group working with microalgae in other fields. So to date, it's not the most update. You can see here 11 commercialized microalgae species. To date, it's 12. And we're active in 15 different countries and hopefully soon in the Vietnamese market as well. As mentioned earlier, we're approaching 3 main business sectors. Aquaculture is one of the main. On top of that, in addition, nutraceuticals and cosmetics, more marine bioactive ingredients, and other marginal markets we're active in. A quick overview of our company, technology, and our value proposition. So this is a very unique proprietary technology we've developed, which is microalgae. I'd say a 5-star hotel for microalgae production. It is a closed loop system which is based on computer software and machine learning. So we have very tight production and very consistent production, which is required in different business sectors. So we will go briefly through different standards and certifications, but we're a human consumption company. We're certified for human consumption for Nutra and other business sectors. So naturally also for aquaculture. These are very clean and unique strains which are pathogen-free due to our proprietary technology. It's cultivated, as I mentioned, in a closed loop, so it's based on artificial seawater. So it's 0 marine pathogens, which is something which is very unique and crucial for stable aquaculture production. Also, the densities of our products, we'll go into that in a moment. I'm running this very quickly since we've got a very short time frame. So, of course, whoever's got questions along the way, let me know after, and I'll be glad to elaborate more. So, as mentioned, we've got more than 12 species upscaled for different uses, different applications. This is how the facility looks at a certain moment. These are some of our certifications to date. And now we'll dive into the aquaculture specifically. So as you all know, Vietnam is a very dominant aquaculture country, not only for shrimp, but also for marine fish, for freshwater fish, and shellfish. And we, since aquaculture relies very much in the early stages, in the early developmental stages of the different animals in microalgae, we're offering a unique value proposition, which is off-the-shelf products. one of the key challenges that most of the producers have in the hatchery segment. By the way, the hatchery segment is equivalent to the baby stages of the different animals. It's not the grow-out farms, whereas the very early stages of production, the hatching. During these stages, there are a lot of different challenges the producers face. One of them is proper feeding and consistent supply of algae and algae culture. So I'll just give you a quick dive into the different products we're offering, but maybe I'll go back to that in a moment. I want to present the value proposition a bit more. So some of the key challenges that the local algae production have in the different hatcheries compared to our off-the-shelf products are part on the nutritional and the health aspect. Our products offer very high nutritional value and potent bioactives, and we offer, as mentioned earlier, multiple species which offer a more balanced diet compared to usually in the local aquaculture practices. They have monocultures of one species, two species for the most part, but not more than that. A key challenge in local aquaculture is pathogens and contaminations, whereas we offer a very clean, pure strain and pure product. I'm reminding you this product is also the same standard produced for human consumption, so it's highly clean and pure. Regarding consistency, one of the key challenges in the aquaculture is stability and consistency through year-round, which is something we offer and is usually lacking or has a big challenge in the local markets. This all sums up to increased ROI, which at the end of the day, sorry, just the presentation jumped a bit. So this is our value proposition when we're talking about off-the-shelf products in the market. Again, the specific sub-segment are the hatchery segments throughout the different animals, the different aquaculture practices, whether it's marine fish, freshwater fish, such as pangasius or shellfish, and of course, shrimp, vaname, and monodon, even Microbial, and Artemia enrichment. Yeah, I see that smile. I want to show you some of the differences we're talking about as to the consistency and the accuracy of using the products. You can see the graph on the left, on the right side, and these different dots present different densities, different algae densities. I won't go too technical, but I just want to present two main ideas here. So one of the key things that are of high interest in aquaculture production is accuracy in applying the different products and consistent and accurate use. So you can see that the upper chart, the upper graph is presenting something which is somewhat dispersed. It varies pretty much between different feeds. Compared to our production, to our product, which is very consistent. We have different products with different ranges of densities, but that is more or less this key difference, which is a big difference for, makes a difference for the aquaculture professional. And increased survival rates, which is very straightforward. There is, in every aquaculture practice, it's measured by survival rates. Higher survival rate means higher ROI. Naturally, everybody is looking for that. Just to give you a brief overview of our commercial status, we've been selling in India for the last couple of years and growing rapidly in the biggest shrimp producing countries in the world, whether India or Ecuador. Now we're this year, one of our key target markets is Vietnam as well as Indonesia. Again, we're talking about multiple subsegments and multiple animals in the different aquaculture segment, whether it's marine fish, shrimp, or shellfish, with proven results. And these are some of the main species. And we're looking for partners, distributors mainly, but also some of the main players in the market to cooperate on different levels of cooperation. Naturally, to begin with, we want to access the market and offer the products sent from Israel, from our production site here. The next stage would be setting up a facility in the local market. That is part of our business approach, and we're looking for partners for setting up a facility. Every aquaculture professional knows that it is a game changer to offer live algae, especially of the quality of the algae we're offering. It is a game changer throughout the market. So we're definitely interested in looking and working with partners who have this vision as well. But to begin with, we're looking for distributors and major players in the market to access the market and begin trading and presenting the products and offering these solutions in the local market in Vietnam. Again, I mentioned different sub-segments. So I just want to emphasize that the major sub-segment we're offering our products is the hatchery segments, whether marine fish, shrimp, or shellfish. And another sub-segment which we're working in is throughout the feed mills, which incorporate in different percentages our microalgae into their dry feeds. So that is another offer which is on the table and is interesting to explore with Vietnamese feed mills. Of course, we produce according to the highest standards for human consumption, so naturally also for healthy shrimp and marine fish. And Luan, let me know if you've got time, if we've got time to put this short video.
We'll send the video later.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that I'll be next week in Vietnam. I'm going to visit Viet Shrimp, so we're going to participate there. So we'll be glad to meet. I'll be glad to meet different hatcheries, producers, distributors there. So please drop a line, let me know. I'm going to be both in Canton and then in Ho Chi Minh City. So you're very welcome to drop a line if you find interest or you have any questions. And I recommend there's a quick, brief video in the PDF that Mr. Luan will probably send you that presents our operations in India and presents the actual work with our products. So aquaculture professionals will definitely find interest in that. So I advise you to check it out. And thank you very much for arranging this webinar. Chen, Ronnie, Mr. Luan, and Ms. Trang, we've been working for a while together and looking forward to deepen our work. Thank you so much.
Cảm ơn phần trình bày của công ty BarAlgae.
Thank you so much for Mr. Omzi from BarAlgae.
Xử lý giống tôm.
Next one, please welcome Enzootic.
Quý đơn vị, mình có thể chia sẻ các cái phần câu hỏi và những cái thắc mắc của mình.
Highlight that all of you can share your questions via the Q&A session.
Trên khung chat em có hướng dẫn.
Please don't hesitate to send your questions to us. Also, you can switch to Vietnamese so that you can listen and understand easier. Next one, please welcome Enzootic company. Please welcome Enzootic.
So thank you, Omri. Thank you for the invitation to speak about Enzootic. My name is Asaf. I am the co-founder and CEO of the Enzootic Group. I'm based in Bangkok. I live and work here in Thailand. Enzootic is a fully vertically integrated freshwater prawn all-female genetics company. At the core of the company, there is a genetic IP company based in Israel. Although I don't directly manage the Israeli company, I will present it here today with some of our vision. And I want to try to give you a slightly different, maybe even radical approach to how Enzootic sees the market and why we operate from Thailand, and maybe the appetite from Vietnam to replicate the success in Thailand also into Vietnam. So if we touch for a second the title I was presented, which is all female shrimp, then maybe we should touch a little bit about what's happening in the shrimp global industry. I'm sure that some of the people in this webinar know that the shrimp global industry is changing. As we know, there is consolidation, whereas India and Ecuador are becoming the biggest player in the market. Some countries are still trying, using various strategies to combat the challenges of the global pricing. And countries like Thailand, where I'm based in, understand already that this challenge is very hard, and they have to diversify their strategy in order to remain relevant in the global shrimp prawn space of this world. And I think many of you realize that whatever we do here in Thailand could pretty good be a replica or something we can do in Vietnam. But I have very few slides, and the technology I'm not going into today, I've shared in the chat a link to the latest publication from last week that summarizes a 3-year commercial scale study with Ben Gurion University from Israel, but conducted here in Thailand. So the results, the technology, the advantages, it's all published in several peer-reviewed scientific journals. But this slide that you see here in this first image in my presentation is basically the vision, okay? Vanami is changing. Monodon clearly cannot fill the gap. Freshwater prawn has the capacity to fill some of those challenges I explained earlier. And by that, I mean not producing large-scale, all-male freshwater prawn like they do very well in Vietnam today to meet the domestic demand, but have a slightly different philosophy of utilizing technologies like the one developed by Enzootic Genetics and Innovation in Israel that enables to eliminate the aggressive territorial males from the pond. And by removing them, we can quadruple, intensify the farming culture dramatically, increasing yields of animals that are targeted to reach 40 gram, which is 25 count, which is the desired size for export markets. There is more and more demand for head-on 25 count freshwater prawn from markets like we are right now from Thailand. And some of them go to neighbors of Vietnam, and they cannot meet the demand here in Thailand for that importing demand for this kind of prawn, which is a female, what they call ovary head, at farming capacities using this technology that enables significant leap in raw material for the processors. So by utilizing a farming technology that eliminates males and focusing on export overseas markets, not only farmers get more for their money because they're not getting the local prices in the market, they're getting 30-35% higher premium prices for 25 counts, which is typically the inferior size category for the domestic market, and focusing on working with the processing exporting entities as their ultimate clients. So I'm gonna try, in the brief time that I have, share with you some of what we do. This is our hatchery in Thailand, not far from Bangkok, where I'm based right now. This is another company by the Enzootic Group that does breeding. It basically utilizes the technology developed by the Enzootic Genetics company into an indoor RAS freshwater prawn hatchery. It's a dual RAS, both freshwater and brackish, that can produce about 300 million PLs a year. All of them are all female. All of them are designed for high density culture. Typically, the farmers will either do it as monoculture after nursery for 90 to 100 days. Sometimes they do it polyculture with Vaname, which is something I don't really like, but this is how they do it here in Thailand. And some of them also stock post-larvae for 140 days to get to that 25 count objective. So this is operating in Thailand since 2022. This is part of what the vertical integration of Enzootic in this space. This is some of the images to share the highlight of the publication I shared in the chat, which basically means 3 years of study conducted with the academia from Israel, where we collected endless amount of data from multiple harvests in our commercial scale farm with all the necessary technical and biological academic replicates. So it will be biologically, statistically validated. And then you can see that using high density all-female farming, the yields here in Thailand, it's in rye, it's 314 to 715 kg per rye, or 2,000 to 400, 500 kilogram per hectare. If you compare it to any other kind of genetics on the market, the historical mixed sex culture that has both males and females, that has a lot of disadvantages, but in terms of yield, as you can see, it's about 1,274 kilogram per hectare. This is also validated in publications. And the all-male culture, which is the traditional genetics used in Southeast Asia to gain more large males for the domestic markets, you can see far behind, around 2,000 kilogram per hectare, 332 kilogram per rye. So farmers, when they want to produce high yields to meet the demand from local processors, they prefer to do high density, increasing the raw material, and in a way, they are distancing themselves from the global chase for price of Vaname, and in a way, creating a new market of exporting freshwater prawn from Thailand as an alternative to the industry here, which is struggling. And although Vietnam is a little bit further ahead in terms of its ability to compete with those prices, I think there is a similar trend, maybe not to the same degree, but I think that the trend in Vietnam for the need of diversity and a new approach can drive such a technology and such strategy to the Vietnamese market as well. A little bit of technicalities for those of you there that need a little bit of more flavor. We do a 90 days grow out after nursery, monoculture, 8 juveniles per square meter. When they do it with polyculture, we recommend doing it at 6 juveniles per square meter. When you stock PLs of 10 to 12 PLs per square meter, we do 140 days grow out, again, to bring them to the 25 count harvest. And the FCR is typically below 1.5. So I'm going to leave you with these ideas in mind as to how can Vietnam diversify their freshwater prawn strategies and maybe diversify the dependency on Vaname farming. This is my contact details. Enzootic in its life cycle right now is looking for processors in Vietnam that have a strategic vision to transform Vietnam to an exporting entity of freshwater prawn using high density technologies. And then the rest is almost technical to implement in Vietnam if you find the right partners and the right overseas market. So thank you for the time. Kapun Kap.
Cảm ơn phần trình bày của công ty Enzootic. Một lần nữa thì xin phép được nhắc lại là mọi người có thể đánh câu hỏi ở trong mục chat để mà các cái diễn giả có thể trả lời các cái câu hỏi của mọi người trong phần Q&A ngay sau phần trình bày ạ. Tiếp theo xin mời bài trình bày của công ty Ardag về giống cá và giải pháp xử lý gen và nguồn nước. Xin mời ông Matan từ công ty Ardag.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matan, and I am the CTO of Ardag. Today, I will tell you about Ardag, the Aquaculture and Biotechnology Center. So, Before I start, I have a small video, but just to know, Ardag is located in Eilat, Israel, a unique location offering access to the continuous supply of the Red Sea water that is actually essential for our operations. This is a company with more than 35 years of experience and growing fish. So I will show you.
Matan, do you have the voice on the video?
So I know that maybe you don't hear it, but it's okay. Everything is written, and just to that you can see. So Ardag specialized in breeding of sea bream fingerlings. So these slides show our intensive production cycles from reproductions in the controlled environment in the tank of the coastal ecosystem to the extensive farming for fattening the fish. So our process is based on extensive knowledge commercialized by kibbutzim in the region, leading to high quality sustainable productions. So it's look like the life cycle is very easy, but in every stage there is a lot know-how and knowledge about it, how to make it in good way and to get the best results. So the successful cultivation of sea bream requires careful management of the nutrition at every stage of the life cycle. So this slide show the food requirements from the yolk sac to the market size. But as you can see, this is very, very general. So in every stage of the life, even in the life food chains, there is a specialized food, as you see in BarAlgae. So everything is very important. Our state-of-the-art facility in Eilat provides a continuous supplies of the Red Sea waters and advanced infrastructures to enabling optimal conditions for fish growth and health. Ardag is also committed to quality control and research. We offer comprehensive laboratory and water testing to ensure the health of the fish and the water quality, and of course the quality of our products. Behind fish production, Ardag offers also a range value-added services. This include import and quarantine of marine animals, cloud computing serving support, efficient operation and regulatory completion, and supplies of all the live feed. We also cultures different kind of fish and also fish and shrimps. So we support a wide range of variety of species, including gilted sea bream, barramundi, flatted gray mullet. And if you want to hear about it, so we can tell maybe later because we don't have a lot of time. We also operate a medium scale cultivation system using 6 ponds covering 600 meters square. This system supports all the growth stages in macroalgae systems and including academic support. In these days, we have a call action to say that we also operate. We also look for key sector, including alternative seafood, marine biotechnology, and productions. We focus with technology, water technology, genetics, nutrition, and so on. We are ready to collaborate with the academics, translate research, companies, support startup, and biotechnology challenges in these sectors. And I will say thank you for the time and the opportunity to present here. Please feel free to contact with us. Thank you.
Cảm ơn phần trình bày của ông Matan.
Thank you very much for
Vừa
your
rồi là
Matan
phần trình bày
for
về
the
chủ đề 1
presentation.
của phần hội thảo ngày hôm nay.
So we
Vấn
have
đề về
gone
phân giống
through
và các giải pháp trị
topic
bệnh.
1, the
Tiếp
fingerling
theo
and
chúng ta
aquaculture
sẽ
disease.
tiếp đến phần 2 của
Next one, we will move
chia
to
sẻ ngày hôm
topic
nay
2
là về giải pháp
about
về xử
the
lý nguồn nước.
water
Để bắt đầu
treatment.
về phần 2 này, chúng tôi xin
So
mời
before
ông Uri
starting
của công ty
topic 2,
BlueGreen sẽ chia sẻ về công nghệ phục hồi hệ
please
sinh thái
welcome
và chất lượng nước.
Mr.
Xin mời ông Uri ạ.
Uri from BlueGreen to share with us.
So thank you for having us over. So BlueGreen is a water treatment company. We're new to aquaculture relatively. We've done some work in aquaculture, mainly in Ecuador. We mainly focus on treating entire lakes, and aquaculture is something that came up in recent years because of the serious need. Our motto is we make water safe. So we try to treat holistically the entire water body. The water bodies could be small aquaculture, but could be the entire operation. Our main focus is blue-green algae or eutrophication. I'm sure all shrimp or aquaculture growers in general are familiar with this. A lot of feed, a lot of organic load. You get algal blooms or overpopulations or eutrophication. And typically, these things are toxic, they smell bad, they reduce the DO, so you have fish mortality, shrimp mortality, very big nuisance. And even if you don't have mortality, you keep it under control, they consume some of the nutrients and compete in some of the toxins that they secrete, reduce the FCR, and you get a slower growth. So since we've been treating water, we're using sodium percarbonate. We've worked mainly in Ecuador. Ecuador has a problem that they're exporting to Europe and they cannot use copper sulfate. So they choose to use sodium percarbonate. So what BlueGreen has done is taken sodium percarbonate and has a proprietary coating technology that takes the active ingredient and encapsulates it with something like wax that is biodegradable and food grade, very thin coating. And now the product is floating and slow releasing. So you have a continuous slow release of sodium percarbonate. So it comes in contact with water and releases hydrogen peroxide and oxygen. So you have both disinfection effect and elevating the DO in the time of need, specifically early in the morning. And this is what it looks like upon application. I'm not sure if the video is moving on at the right pace, but I'll stop here. And you basically deliver the compound from top down. You stand on one side and it moves around floating. So you have a slow delivery of hydrogen peroxide throughout maybe 5 to 10 hours to the entire pond and water column, but the actual concentration is very low. So it's enough to kill the blue-green algae, but it doesn't harm the fish at the right dose. So the mode of action is exposing cells to oxidative stress, triggering programmed cell death of the cyanobacteria. They're very sensitive to peroxide. And then you have population exchange. You reduce the entire toxic population. You still keep the beneficial algae and bacteria in the water, but you change the toxic population. So you have a better balanced pond, and the biodiversity restored in the aquaculture pond can continue as normal. And we've done some studies in Ecuador demonstrating the advantages. We've tested multiple doses of our product and shown significant improvement in DO, especially early in the mornings. I won't go into details, but you can clearly see that on the higher doses, you get a significant improvement in dissolved oxygen within 24 hours of applications. And there's a second advantage that is a change in phytoplankton populations. You're shifting from harmful cyanobacteria to mostly green algae or diatoms or whatever you typically have in your ponds. You're being more selective towards cyanobacteria and eliminating cyanobacteria. And the third advantage of our technology is improved sanitation in ponds. We've only looked at Vibrio and only on a short time. We've tried multiple doses. This is a relative result. So this is the control where the lower the bar, meaning the more effective it was. So we've seen significant reduction in Vibrio population and a very healthy shrimp population in Ecuador. We've had reports that this was also effective against certain viruses because of improved sanitation, but we haven't done the study. So we've developed a, well, actionable, simple protocol for treatment with our product. In certain DO conditions, you measure the DO and you respond with a certain dose. Sometimes the recommendation is do not treat. We don't encourage overtreatment. But if the DO and the stress level is at a certain range, then there's a certain dose to response. So it's very simple to follow the protocol and get better sanitation and getting rid of blue-green algae over time. And that's pretty much our, it's very simple and with very significant results. Slow release of hydrogen peroxide. I do thank you for watching my presentation. I won't be around for the Q&A. I have to leave, unfortunately, but do look us up and reach out through the organizers or directly at bluegreenwatertech.com. We'll be happy to take questions and elaborate. And we are looking for distributors, sellers, clients, and companies willing to do experiments and find other applications for technology. Thank you so much.
Cảm ơn phần trình bày của ông Uri từ công ty BlueGreen. Thì như anh
Thank you
Uri
very
cũng có
much
trình bày,
for the presentation
mọi người
from
có
Mr.
thể
Uri.
đánh câu hỏi ở trên mục chat và ban tổ chức sẽ chuyển câu hỏi
We
đó tới ông Uri
welcome
sau
all
buổi
of
hội thảo,
your
cũng như kết
questions.
nối ông Uri tới các cái đơn vị quan tâm ạ. Tiếp theo phần trình bày của ông Uri thì xin phép mời cô Mi Chan thuộc công ty NanoClear sẽ giới
Next
thiệu
one,
về giải
please
pháp
welcome Mr.
vật
Mi
lý xử
Chan
lý nguồn nước
from
có nguồn gốc từ
NanoClear.
nano. Xin mời cô Mi
We
Chan.
can have water
So, Mi Chan, the floor is
treatment.
yours.
Okay, hi, I am Michal Willis. I'm from NanoClear Systems, and I'm very happy to represent today. There's certainly a nice audience, and I'll get to Vietnam, which is an exciting market for us, and lots of interesting things have been happening for NanoClear in Vietnam. So just a very quick overview. NanoClear has an impact across a few industries, from wastewater treatment to algae control to aquaculture. We offer cutting-edge nanomaterial solutions that solves water problems, and we do so in a sustainable manner. I'll obviously dive more into what this means, but I do want to dive straight away into aquaculture. And our journey in aquaculture actually started in Vietnam. We've conducted our first testing with Nha Trang University in Vietnam, and I'm sure you're all familiar with. And that also led the way to our partnership with Minh Phu Corporation, who is the biggest processor of shrimp in Vietnam and also very well known in Southeast Asia in general. So I'm going to present some of the findings we've had through this collaboration. But touching upon the shrimp aquaculture industry, and specifically in hatcheries, we see some trend and opportunities. Obviously, production capacity of over 2,000 hatcheries, producing approximately 150 billion post-larvae annually. So that's, I think, the biggest market to date, or the second largest. I think they compete between, there's two that keep on changing, but production capacity, very impressive production capacity. There's species diversity from Veneme to black tiger. There's also technology adoption. You see all the time, implementation of new technologies, biofloc systems, RAS, etc., and genetic improvement, growing focus on selective breeding, disease resistance, and different ways to have faster grow rates. Obviously, this doesn't come without challenges, and the challenges that that many hatcheries are experiencing are primarily water quality management. As you all know, poor quality leads to high mortality rates and inconsistent yields. We just had a test in Indonesia with one of our partners, and obviously it's not very rare that an entire tank is being thrown out because it didn't perform. It's not unheard of, unfortunately. So we see that. That takes me to the next point, which is disease management, primarily in hatcheries, early mortality syndrome, EMS, and rising costs and compliance are obviously coming from all directions. So how do we help that? Okay, so the solution is a result of a product of over 15 years of research and development by a team of PhD material scientists. And what we set to do, I have it right here actually. You can see it on I'm holding it in, I'm not sure if you can see, but basically it's a petal you see on the right-hand side of the screen. And we set to create innovation in nanomaterial technology to create the ideal substrate, the ideal means of delivering beneficial bacteria in quantities that the world didn't know can exist. And by allowing for beneficial bacteria to be in the water in such quantities, obviously we intensify the biological process. They cycle waste out of water, and then the water quality remains biologically superior and allows for the shrimp and the post-larvae to thrive. So this petal looks like very low tech, but it's the highest of tech. In fact, it's the highest of innovation in actual material innovation. It accelerates beneficial bacteria growth. It promotes water quality management in a sustainable biological way without chemicals nor energy. And finally, it's the ideal substrate, the ideal delivery system, because as you saw, it's small, it's stackable. We take very little volume of the tank to have a very big impact on the water quality. And we can use it very small quantities. It's modular, it's stackable, it's lightweight. And like we said, we apply it directly into ponds, directly into hatcheries, primarily into hatcheries. And like I said before, from wastewater to from very sophisticated wastewater treatment facilities to aquaculture facilities to open, reservoirs, lagoons, and lakes. So I don't want to get too technical, but just to give a little bit of, what makes us different, why is this material so special? So first of all, it's all a game of surface area. We have unparalleled surface area. If you compare us to the plastic bio bowls, which are very known in the industry and in wastewater, you're looking at the plastic bio bowls have 500 square meter per cubic meter, while ProBiomedia that I was showing you has 2.25 million square meter per cubic meter. So that's significantly larger, 2,000 times in fact, 2,000 times more efficient. The second piece is that we have an unique interconnected porous structure that the water just flow through as if the material wasn't there. And it allows for very little to no clogging. We see less than 1% after, a year, which is essentially nothing. And obviously the ceramic material we're using is a natural-based material. If the bacteria had little feet, they cling to that material. This is a third-party test that you can see how they attach to plastic versus to ceramic. So like I said, really increasing the population of beneficial bacteria at a given time, and that allows for superior water quality. This is a quick demonstration on how it actually operates. You can see the water coming through, and then obviously there's a biofilm formation inside, and they come through the other side and make that impact all within this little cube. Okay, so how does it make a difference for shrimp hatcheries and nurseries? First of all, what I like to call it's a proactive water quality management. ProBiomedia enhances the water quality and allows farmers and hatchery operators to do so without constantly having to worry about the water quality, constantly to test, which we all know is the reality. And it just gives you peace of mind. It's consistent. I'll show you some of the results of how it keeps ammonia levels really low. And that allows for just a peace of mind, proactive way instead of a reactive way to water quality management. The second part, which is directly benefiting the pocket of hatchery operators, and that's why it's so easy to sell, is because it increases profitability immediately. Probiomedia outperforms control groups, achieving significant yield increases. We're seeing over 90% survival rates, and definitely an increase depending on how efficient the process is, of 15%, at least 15% improvement on existing operations. We'll get to that in some case studies, local case studies. And those shrimp and PL are larger, healthier. You can see that in terms of their looks, their taste, and their size. So let's get to actual results. So Minh, we were with Minh, monodon hatchery in Vietnam. I'm sure you're all familiar with. We did a head-to-head test from Annapolis until PL12 stage. We compared. This was a replicated trial. We replicated it five times in 5 tanks. So there was 5 control groups and 5 tanks in the control group, and 5 tanks using probiomedia. All other conditions besides for probiomedia remain the same. And here are the results. So obviously Minh have a very efficient operations. So they had 80% survival rate, depending on different stages. If anyone wants the result, I'm happy to share them, the entire report. But we saw 15% improvement in survival rate in 5 replicated tanks after 20 to 22 days of a hatchery cycle. That, by the way, can be translated immediately by the price of PL, just exactly how much the value of using probiomedia was, which is very easy to show the return on investment in a very short cycle of time. So that was in the hatchery. I did want to show you another test that we did in the next phase of a nursery. Over here, you see that the survival rates were very similar. There was no significant or improvement in survival rates. But what you do see is the final biomass was literally 35% increase in final biomass, which is just crazy. We've also been collaborating with the Thai Union in Thailand, and this is one of the things that immediately sparked their attention. They were very excited about this.
Concerning about your...
Sorry?
We want to open the office for operations.
Yes.
Hire a few people.
Yes. So I would like to ask basically in order to better understand your request, we would like to have a very short call with you today.
Chị Trang ơi.
We want to learn exactly what you want.
Hello, chị
And
Trang.
to my understanding that you plan to visit to Vietnam soon, right?
Hello, chị Trang.
So yes, please, can you advise us how we can support you?
Hello, chị Trang ơi, chị.
I have a few questions. So I'm been going for few countries in the southeast and trying to build a team, but
anyone talking to me?
China and saw that the price
Sorry for
labor there is very expensive now.
Sorry for Hello. Trúc có nghe không mọi người? You guys hear me? Yeah, okay. Sorry for some technicality. Mikan, you can continue.
Okay, that was fun. Okay, I wasn't sure if they're talking to me or not. Okay, fantastic. So I'm about to wrap up. Happy to take questions. So let's just go to the next slide. Okay, this is from Naha Trang University. Like I said, we're not really operating in farms yet. We just completed a big farm test in India. I'm yet to see the results. We're gonna meet Monday next week. So, but we're not really focusing on that as of today. It may be something we focus on in the future, but we do have preliminary results because of Naha Trang, and you can see the quality of shrimp, but most importantly, you can see the mechanism of action. Over here, you see that while after day 20, the control, the control demonstrated by the blue line, and the biofilm methodology used is demonstrated by the gray line. Probiomedia demonstrated by the orange line is kept, ammonia levels were kept below 1 part per million throughout the culture. So you can see how the mechanism of action is working. You can see how water quality remains very well. This is just to give you an idea how it's being super simple, biodegradable. We're just like applying it directly into a tank. You can see here an example, and this is a material, and this is me. You're welcome to obviously reach out, but the Economic Trade Mission have my contact, and I would just conclude by saying that we're actually looking for a distributor in Vietnam or validating different companies. So we're looking for one or two, not more than that, maybe for different parts, and someone who would, that's how we operate usually, through a very strong partner in the field that have access and I guess market share directly to the hatchery sector in Vietnam. So if this is you, I would be very happy to continue the conversation and to talk. Thank you very much for your time and look forward to meeting you.
Cảm ơn cô Mi Chan về phần trình bày. Thì
Thank you, Ms. Mi Chan, for your presentation. There is one question in the Q&A session.
Là nếu mà quý họ muốn thử nghiệm cho hồ nuôi tôm nhỏ thì công ty không
If we
biết là có
want
thể
to
liên hệ
apply for the small hatchery, how can we connect?
như cô Mi Chan
Whether we
đề xuất
can
rồi đó,
connect
là
to
công
Ms.
ty
Mi Chan.
Israel đang tìm kiếm một cái đơn vị có thể phân phối cái sản phẩm này của họ, cho nên là xin phép được kết nối với cái công ty đang đề ra câu hỏi này để trao đổi kỹ thêm ạ.
We can see that there is one person who is interested in this solution. So we will contact to you later.
Và em xin nhắc lại là mọi người có thể thoải mái đặt câu hỏi cho các cái công ty
And I would
Israel
like to highlight again that we welcome to all of the questions from you guys.
từ công ty Atlantium.
Next one, please welcome Mr. Phương. I'm the director of Atlantia from Southeast Asia.
Mọi người có thấy cái file trình bày không ạ?
Yes.
Có rồi nó này.
Dạ, em thấy rồi. Dạ.
Ok ạ. Xin phép chia sẻ với mọi người.
Hello everyone.
Công nghệ UV
I am honored to introduce Atlantium technologies.
Ngay bản thân cái từ đấy của nó.
I will present how our hydro-optic disinfection HOD system utilize UV technology to ensure microbiological safety across various industries.
Đây là một cái UV duy nhất trên thế giới mà nó có
60 This is the unique UV utilization in the world that has more than 60 patents that can applying in various fields, including aquaculture, municipal water treatment, and industrial applications.
Em quay trở lại giúp anh. Trang mà có cái bản đồ thế giới. Đây là cái UV duy nhất mà các bạn không cần phải.
This is the only UV in the world that has installed in more than 67 countries. So you know, in each countries they have different standards, right? But Atlantium meets all of the standards in the international standards. So you don't worry when you cooperate with other country or whether your technology meets the standards at that country or not.
Dùng trong ngành nước sạch có 355 triệu lít.
So in total, we can produce 355 million liters a day. That is the statistics for water treatment. And in Philippines, we have provide clean water for 3 million people in Philippines.
Anh sẽ tập trung vào cái công nghệ mà lúc nãy anh Lập có hỏi khác biệt đấy.
So today I would like to tell more about the HOD. This is the unique in the world, one of a kind. I'm sure about that. So this is the image of HOD, the control system. All of the traditional UV in the aquaculture currently, this light will be vertically, but for our technology, it will be 90 degrees.
anh em mình truyền dẫn bao nhiêu megabyte, megabit đúng không? Thì đầu kia nhận được
So
cũng nguyên
all
vẹn.
of the UV will be transmitted right into the object.
Đây là các cái bệnh trong nuôi tôm, ví dụ như là tôm nhiễm
So
khuẩn,
these are
lông
the
trắng, ong
diseases
trùng,
in
EMS,
shrimp
và
production.
những cái bệnh. Cái này thì trong ngành anh em mình biết rồi. Luôn tiếp tục cho anh. Em quay lại cái có cái biểu đồ ạ. Tất cả các UV trên thế giới là mình dùng ở bước sóng là người ta hay gọi là UVC 254 nanomet ạ. Của em quay lại của Atlantium là
Our
mình sử dụng
spectrum
từ cái
of
bước sóng 200
Atlantium,
cho đến 400 ạ.
the spectrum
Đâm ra là cái
is
phổi mình tiếp xúc
200
khuẩn
to
là lớn hơn rất
400.
nhiều ạ. Khoảng độ 3.200
So the
loại các con vi
wavelength
khuẩn.
is much higher. So it can kill a lot of bacteria.
Chính vì vậy là khi mà bên mình làm xử lý các đầm tôm mà biết được cái nước đầu vào đầu ra thì đây là tỷ lệ bình quân ạ, tăng tỷ lệ sống sót.
Therefore, we
Survival
can
rate từ
increase the
56
survival rate
lên 85%
from
mà không cần phải thay đổi
56%
các thiết bị
to
khác. Cái đang
85%
hiện
without
hữu
changing any
đây
equipment.
là số liệu mà tụi mình lấy bình quân ở các cái đầm
These are
tôm.
just the
Đâm ra là
average
ngay tại Việt
data
Nam bên
in
Atlantium có
the
16
shrimp
vị trí
hatchery in the
lắp đặt
Southeast Asia.
tại các cái vuông tôm của CP ạ, CP Food Thái Lan ạ. Đấy, cách lắp đặt nó rất đơn giản ạ, nó giống như một cái
And
đường ống
also
dẫn
the
luôn lắp thẳng vào
installation is really
thông thường
simple.
là Atlantium đã tính toán, thế nên là
Atlantium
của cái
has
bit mà của
calculated
cái UV unit đấy bằng đúng
the
cái
best
đường
way,
đấy, bởi vì
best practice
hầu như đường
to
kính và
install
lưu lượng đúng không?
all of the
Khách hàng không cần phải thay đổi cái
equipment.
kích thước.
So
Tiếp tục cho anh.
the hatchery won't need to
Cái này
change
rất
the
quan trọng.
size.
Cách sử dụng trong
The
hết buổi
farmer
hôm nay
won't
mình
need
chỉ
to
nói về
change
tôm.
the size of the
Em lướt qua
hatchery.
cho anh. Em dừng ở đây ạ. Cái Atlantium UV nó có điểm đặc biệt là mọi người rất tiết kiệm điện ạ. Ngoài cái hiệu
The
ứng quang
unique
học như
point
lúc nãy
of
Phương
the
vừa nói,
the best
nó
advantage
có một cái thứ hai nữa là
advantage of Atlantium is we can
tất cả các cụm UV mà hiện nay
maximize
mọi người dùng với
the
một cụm
wavelength.
UV ạ, dù là bao nhiêu bóng đèn ạ, mình sẽ chỉ có một cặp cảm biến cho cái cụm đấy thôi ạ. Còn cái UV của Atlantium thì mỗi một bóng đèn sẽ có một cặp cảm biến. Chính
Each
vì vậy
light
họ sẽ tự động điều khiển chạy
for
theo chế
the
độ
HUV
slim light.
will
Cái
have
này
the
dễ nhầm một chút là 30 đến 100%.
so we
Cho
have
nên cái hiệu
real-time
suất
monitoring of
cái điện
UV
năng tiêu dùng
lamp
của mình ấy
intensity
là
with dual
giảm
sensor configuration,
70% đến 400%
which
tùy
can
vào cái
enhance
Bởi vì khi
70%
mà
to 400%
chế
energy
độ đục của mình này,
savings
cái lưu
compared
lượng của
to
mình thay đổi,
traditional UV
nói chung cái điều kiện
systems.
đầu vào của mình thay đổi thì lúc đấy tự động cái cường độ chiếu sáng
And
của Atlantium UV
this is
nó sẽ thay đổi.
real-time
Điều đấy
monitoring. What does it mean?
đưa ra cái tiết kiệm
That
điện năng.
based on the energy, we can monitor the lamp
Ở đây có người
intensity.
bảo là trình bày không có tiếng ạ. Đầu này anh vẫn có audio mà anh để 100%. Em có nghe tiếng Anh không ạ?
Em có nghe ạ.
Ok. Lúc nãy mọi người nhìn thấy cái UV đấy là UV dùng trong nuôi trồng thủy sản đúng không? Thì thường là nằm vuông góc trong ống, còn đây là những cái UV mà mình dùng cho các đô thị lớn. Atlantium đang làm cho ví dụ như là Bình Dương hay là ngoài Hải Phòng. Em tiếp tục. Và đây là những cái cơ cấu họ sẽ tự động làm sạch bóng đèn ạ. Bởi vậy nó sẽ đảm
This
bảo được
is the cleaning
vấn
mechanism
đề vệ sinh ấy.
of the lamp
Rất nhiều hãng
of
UV là
HOD.
người ta khi mà muốn làm sạch bóng đèn này thì sẽ phải làm sạch bằng
Normally for traditional equipment, we need to use chemicals, but for HOD, doesn't need that.
Đây là một trong các hình ảnh. Đặc biệt ngành UV còn sử dụng rất nhiều ở trong các cái ngành nhà máy điện ấy. Mọi người
And
thấy
also UV, there are a lot of application of UV X-ray in the power, electric power.
Các cái vật rắn hữu cơ, chất rắn mà vô cơ lơ lửng. Đây là hình ảnh mà trước khi sử dụng UV hiện nay
You
bọn
can
mình
see
đang
that
làm
this is before applying HOD. There are a lot of shells sticking into the equipment. But after using the HOD, there is no
nước dẫn làm mát cho các tua bin.
there is no shrimps or anything sticking into it. So thank you very much for your listening.
Mình đã từng làm với lại Luân với Châu Anh Lập làm Thảo, mình có thể làm nguyên một ngày.
I have worked a lot with Mr. Luong as well as Dinh Xuan Lập on how to apply on the shrimp production, and we are about to install a new HOD system in Quảng Ninh. And we would like to invite you guys to see the real life.
Mọi người cũng có thể đặt câu hỏi cho ở trên phần
So
chat.
please
Anh Phương sẽ
give us
giải đáp sau cái buổi hội thảo.
questions and we will answer to you after this seminar. And last but not least, we would like to introduce you guys another solution for the water treatment, which is the coating activity. Due to some unexpected reason, Mr. Army Zlatin cannot come to this seminar, but we will play a video shortly.
Hi, my name is Dr. Amir Zlatkin. I'm a clinical microbial and a marine microbiologist, and today I'm going to present you Dispenser Bio. I'm the founder CTO of the company. So Dispenser Bio is really bringing a solution for cleaning pipes and clean ships and other wet surfaces. And she's actually dealing with a phenomena called biofouling. Biofouling, it's an unsolved problem with a pain of about $100 billion. And it's actually due to a biofilm that is made by microorganism. And when it's become biofouling, it's a maintenance nightmare. It's an efficacy drug and it's contamination hazard, and any industry involved water will suffer from biofilm and biofouling. So when we are entering a little bit deep to specific application, we can see that the cost of pain in aquaculture, biocorrosion, desalination, marine coating, and of course many other are in the billions range. And actually, the problem is that the existing solutions are actually a biocide, or what we call the antimicrobials, and they are aiming for killing bacteria. And due to the fact that bacteria are creating a high resistance to biocide when they are in the biofilm stage, and also most of the killing material are also toxic to human, to the environment, most of them are becoming inefficient or highly concentrated and started to be banned by regulatory agencies. Our solution, Dispenser Bio solution, as you can understand from the name, is isolating signals for dispersing biofilm without killing the bacteria. In this case, we have no compensation. We are not a drive to resistance. We are not toxic at all. We are not killing even bacteria. And we have no protective mechanism from the bacteria to avoid our activity, our peptide activity. The solution is actually based on deep science. What we found is that any organism from the beginning of the multicellular organism up to human being, from sea animal to human being, there is a single protein with some small variability, with a very highly conserved shape, which is specifically asked bacteria that are interacting with our body surface, not to create biofilm on our surface. In many places on our surface, you will have a single planktonic bacteria, but they will not create biofilm. And this is the only issue that we want to solve. So we discovered the active sequence that is activating the bacteria to disperse from biofilm. This material is so active that with single gram of our material, you can coat 1,000 square meter surfaces. It's protected by 5 grounded family, And this one is one of the most potent anti-biofouling agent that you can find in the world. So in terms of go-to-market, we are going in two activities. One is water treatment activity and as a cleaning solution, and the other one is coating activity. So we have a very strong proof of concept in the cleaning system. We demonstrate high reduction of a biocorrosion when we are treated in consortium from oil and gas fields. We demonstrate a very good activity when we are passing it through reverse osmosis membrane, and we are also demonstrating good activity when we are dealing with cooling tower. From the coating activity, when we are coating drip irrigation pipes, and we demonstrate that single coating can last for more than 30 days. And as you can see, the 100 nanomolar, those are the concentration that we are working at, is sufficient to keep the polyethylene, in this case, emitter of the drip irrigation system, clean like a new one. We also have a conjugation to acrylic paints. So to summarize, Dispenser Bio really bring to the world the most potent, zero toxic, and eco-friendly patent-protected biofilm treatment solution at a fraction of the cost of the existing toxic antimicrobial solution. Thank you very much.
Mình sẽ dành tiếp thời gian ở đây cho các phần cho các cái câu
So
hỏi trả
next one,
lời.
we will move on to the Q&A session.
Và sau buổi hội thảo này thì
And after this seminar, the Israeli consulate will share with you guys the presentation of all the speakers.
Ngoài ra thì quý đơn vị cũng có thể liên hệ Văn phòng Kinh tế và Thương mại
And
Israel,
also you can contact us.
Trung tâm nuôi trồng thủy sản để mà có thể
So you can discuss more. You can see the contact information in here.
Sau hội thảo và kết nối. Thì tiếp theo đây thì em sẽ xin dành thời gian cho các cái câu hỏi.
Next one, let's move on to the Q&A session.
Có một số câu hỏi đã trả lời rồi. Chắc xin phép sẽ bắt đầu với một câu hỏi từ một anh là nhờ thông dịch viên dịch ra cho các cái công ty Israel. Câu hỏi dành cho công ty NanoClear. Các hệ thống nuôi tôm siêu thâm canh khi ứng dụng vật liệu xử lý nước có hiệu quả từ nguồn gốc nano thì đạt hiệu quả bao nhiêu %, và cái vật liệu này có thể tái sử dụng hay không?
Yes, there are several questions from participants. So we will go through one by one. It's okay?
Okay. So the first
translation will be translation for you, and after the question you answer. It's okay.
The first question is how effective.
So the first question will be for you from the chat.
How effective are super intensive screen farmer systems when applying nano-based?
Câu hỏi này cho công ty NanoClear của bà Pichan. Các hệ thống nuôi tôm siêu thâm canh khi ứng dụng vật liệu xử
How
lý này.
effective are super intensive screen farming systems when applying nano-based water treatment materials, and can these materials be reused? Thank you.
Luana, I assume this is a question for me.
Yes, that is a question for NanoClear.
Yeah, this is a great question. Thank you for asking. So this is a material that can be reused many, many times. It's not something that dissolves in the water. And up to our best knowledge to date, because we have only a few years of experimenting with it, we like to say that it lasts for at least 20 cycles. That's being very conservative. So at least 20 cycles, roughly, depending on your operations, 2 years or more of reusing the material. And we have a protocol for disinfecting it between cycles.
Yeah. Another side of the question, you mentioned that for the super intensive stream farming, if apply your knowledge about the nano, how many potential that can treatment the water for the super intensive stream farming in Vietnam?
So in super intensive screen farming systems, can Can you tell us the
Also, the
efficiency percentage?
Using your product is
Yeah,
a nano, yeah, or the
So-
super intensive farming. And how about how many potential that can treatment the water if using your product for the super intensive stream farming? Yeah.
The efficiency rate in super intensive stream farming systems.
Yes, so we actually do best in very intense environments. That's where we provide the most value. In fact, in Ecuador, where they stock so low, it's harder to bring, a lot of value. They stock very low. So we actually love working in very intensive environments, such as which is common in Vietnam. In terms of the efficiency, I assume you mean the ratio of product to water. We use in a 20, so in a 20, hold on one second, sorry. I have in a 20-meter cube tank, we would use roughly 5 kilos of probiomedia. I can get you the exact numbers, but 4.6 or something like that. So roughly 5. That's the ratio of material per cubic meter of tank volume.
Can you repeat the ratio?
Sure. So in a 20-meter cube tank, we would use roughly 5 kilograms of the material.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Luan, maybe just one more question because we're already running out of time, but we'll make sure that we'll answer all of the questions later. We just received a lot of questions, so we won't have time for all of them now, but we promise to stay in touch and answer all of the questions later.
Có một câu hỏi về xin phép lấy một câu hỏi nữa về
So
cũng dành cho
only
công ty NanoClear.
one more question for NanoClear.
Chúng tôi có 400 hồ nuôi tôm giống.
We have 400 stream hackeries right now. So if using ceramic material with biochemicals, can you tell us the efficiency? And also, we would like to cooperate with you to distribute your products in Vietnam. So we would like to contact with you to discuss more details information. So please, Ms. Mi-chan, to explain for me about the biomaterials of the ppm.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly what the question was, but I'll be more than happy to meet any relevant candidates for distribution in Vietnam. So I look forward to being in touch and answering any questions. I do want to correct one thing that was said. You used the word chemicals, and there are no chemicals in the process whatsoever. So it's solely bacteria. We use Bacillus bacteria. It doesn't utilize any chemicals, so it's fully biological. But I'll be very happy to talk. Please leave your contact info here in the chat or through Luan and the Economic Mission, and I'll certainly be in touch.
They would like to ask about the bio aspects of the ppm.
Có thấy một số câu hỏi dành cho công ty BlueGreen cũng như là cái giải pháp phủ chống bám sinh học, thì xin phép quý đơn vị thì sẽ liên hệ và kết nối đến công ty để mà các bên có thể trao đổi chi tiết hơn ạ. Và mọi người có thể liên hệ thông qua các cái đầu mối ở trên màn hình từ Văn phòng Kinh tế và Thương mại Israel tại Việt Nam, cũng như là Trung tâm Hợp tác Quốc tế về nuôi trồng khai thác thủy sản bền vững. Cảm ơn mọi người đã dành thời gian tham gia buổi hội thảo ngày hôm nay. Các cái câu hỏi của mọi người đã được ghi lại và Văn phòng Kinh tế sẽ chuyển đến
Thank you so much for participating in this seminar today, and all of your questions have been noted. And we will connect you guys to give the correct answer. And we welcome to all of the
nữa xin cảm ơn mọi người đã dành thời gian
Welcome to all of your interest and please contact us to discuss more about the opportunities.
ngay sau